Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Mental Wellbeing. Today we are going to discuss about ADHD, that is Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. I am Neha Bhardwaj Anirudh, psychologist and teacher, and with me I have my friend and psychologist Srividya Venkatraman Iyer. Hi Srividya, Merry Christmas.
Hi Neha, Merry Christmas to you too. Now, when you said this word, the abbreviation ADHD, I am reminded of a quote by Dr. Edward Hallowell. He said, "The best way to think of ADHD is not as a mental disorder, but as a collection of traits that define a way of being." Isn't this true?
Wow, yeah, very beautiful quote.
Yeah. Today
So
I
what are we
thought,
going to do?
yeah, we should
Yeah.
get together and answer certain frequently asked questions regarding ADHD. Let's start. I'll ask you the first question. What is ADHD, Neha?
You see, Vidya, by the age of 10, most of the children have mastered the basic cognitive skills required for focusing on a certain task, comprehending the instructions given by the elders, following rules, behaving appropriately to the situation, uh, persistent in that task, that is, taking up a task and finishing it, organizing their life, their work, their studies, everything. But certain children, they are not able to do so. And this is because of a neurological condition called as ADHD, in which so many signals are shot between their neurons that they are not able to pick up which signal to follow and which to leave, due to which they become a lot fidgety. They are constantly on the move. They keep on tapping their fingers, or they keep on talking, or they are not able to finish the work that they have taken up. They not only disrupt their own activity, but they also disturb the other children. So such children are commonly called as the hyperactive kids. So going to the next question, Srividya, what according to you are the causes for ADHD?
Well, Neha, when we talk about the causes of ADHD, I would like to tell you and all others who are watching that there are four categories of causes. It could be biological, it could be genetics, it could be chemical, and it could be post prenatal. So, when we talk about biological, we talk about the brain. So, ADHD children have this uh, frontal lobe to be, they are less matured as compared to other children. Or any kind of brain injuries can also lead to ADHD. Next is genetics. So it has been seen in many studies that ADHD is passed predominantly from the parents to the offsprings. Next is chemical. Any exposure to chemical, for example, environmental toxins, pesticides, lead, could lead to ADHD. And also, it is seen that ADHD children have lower levels of dopamine. Dopamine is a neurotransmitter. And finally, when we talk about pre postnatal causes, alcohol consumption, smoking, and drug abuse or tobacco consumption during pregnancy could lead to a birth of an ADHD child. And also after the birth, also lower birth weight, premature birth, all these things can also lead to ADHD. So these are basically the causes. Now let's move on to what are the criterias or symptoms that leads to a child to be categorized as ADHD child.
Yeah, this is one of the most important questions or frequently asked questions by our parents and teachers, that how do we distinguish between a normally hyperactive kid and a child with ADHD. So there are certain symptoms, but before we go to the symptoms, I would like our viewers to know that there are basically three types of ADHD. The inattention type, where the child is not able to pay attention but is usually reserved and shy. The second is the hyperactive or the impulsive type, where the name itself suggests the child is very hyperactive. And the third is the combined type. So, as you can see in this on your screen, that we are looking at the inattention type and the hyperactive type, and each has certain some nine criterias to categorize the child as ADHD. or to diagnose the child as ADHD. So out of these nine, at least six symptoms should be present in the child to diagnose the child as having ADHD. And this should be present, and these should be present before the age of 70. And these should be consistently present for at least 6 months. And the child's behavior should be inappropriate to the developmental stage he's in. That is, it should be age inappropriate. And due to these symptoms, the child's daily functioning in school, in house, or at play should be hampered. If all these things are happening, then we can say that yes, the child might be having ADHD. But before we come to a conclusion, it is always better to show to a psychiatrist or a psychologist. So going to the next question, Srividya, as a parent that you are and as a, psychologist, what interventions will you like to suggest for our parents to manage children with ADHD at home?
Well, Neha, when it comes to parents, most of the parents keep asking me that please suggest what do we do, you know, for our children who are having ADHD. So there are certain parental strategies that they could follow. First is they have to pay constant attention. Well, they should not leave it to the child that the child by will do by itself. So any kind of work that is assigned to the child, the parent will have to supervise them. Second is give effective instructions. Now, the instruction can be effective only when you meet the eyes, you you know uh, use minimum words, and also you are slow while giving instructions. So that the child understands what you say. Next is appropriate appreciation. A child will have to be appreciated for any effort or every effort that the child puts in, and positive reinforcement in the sense that any kind of achievement should have to be can be rewarded by the parents in the form of medals, in the form of certificates, or in the form of a small card or whatever way. An ADHD child should actually have a proper routine, and the parents should ensure that they maintain a proper timetable for them, getting up on a particular time, getting dressed up, going to school, coming back. So that is very important. Next, any amount of physical exercise is essential for ADHD child. So, for example, any kind of exercise for that matter, as shown here, it could be exercise, it could be cycling, it could be jogging, or any kind, even jumping is very important. Why? Because when the child is hyperactive, it will disperse all the energy in these activities, and finally, it will bring all the next activity, whatever it comes, it will be able to focus better. So this is important. Then any kind of background music or any kind of music, if the ADHD child is trained to listen to music, it will be very helpful again for the same reason, to maintain focus or to bring back the focus. Finally, an ADHD child has this habit of fidgeting with the with anything that it gets, in the hand. There are many kinds of fidgets as well. So according to their fidgets and needs, they could be given any kind of toy. For example, it could be simple beads or clay, even for that matter, or a fidget spinner, or whatever is the requirement. It could be given to them, and they can fidget without disturbing others in the class or others around them at home as well. So these are basically the parental strategies. Now, Neha, as a teacher and as a counselor and psychologist, uh, you please enlighten us with what are the strategies for ADHD children when it comes to school.
Yeah, so most of the interventions suggested by you can also be used by teachers, like giving positive reinforcement in form of batches or smileys or stars can be used by teachers, having a proper checklist so that the child and the teacher know that how much improvement has been made by the child. And also, like you said, instruction, giving instruction to these children matter a lot. So the instruction has to be slow, it has to be short, and it has to be in very simple words. And while giving instruction, the teacher has to maintain eye contact with the child so that it is easy for them to comprehend and understand. In the same way, while teaching as well, the pace of the teaching has to be comparatively slow. And as these children are prone easily to boredom, so teachers have to include something new in their teaching every day, which I know is quite challenging for teachers themselves. And having a proper structure or format is very much necessary. So when you are teaching, you should link whatever you are teaching today to their previous experience, to their previous knowledge, or linking them to something that is visual, which they can see, to any object that they can touch to. So this makes them easy to remember. And like you said, Vidya, these children have lots of energy in them, and they have very short attention span. They have an attention span of 15 to 20 minutes. So making them move around or running around will dissipate their energy and will help them sit at one place and pay attention to the class or to whatever instruction you are giving. So you can give them short tasks such as please go to the staff room and bring chalks, or you can ask them please take 2 rounds of the corridor, or you can ask all the children of the class to make 10 to 15 jumps, so that the child doesn't feel that he or she alone is being targeted. And this way they will also drain off the excess energy that they have in them, and they will sit attentively for next 15 to 20 minutes. Once again they have more energy, you will have to give them or put them to some task. Another one thing is when the teacher is managing the class or arranging the class, she or he should ensure that this child specifically sits in the front of the class, and all the charts and other visually appealing things should go behind and doesn't come in their gaze, so that they do not get distracted by it. They should also be made to sit away from the window. So already as they have this attention problem, we can reduce it as much as possible by making such seating arrangement. Another one thing is focal point. That is, these children, as they have less attention, they also have less remembrance capacity. This is basically because they get so easily distracted that they forget the task at hand. So you will always hear their parents complaining that they forgot their tiffin at school, or they forget their compass somewhere, or they have misplaced their identity card. So what we can do is we can leave small sticky notes or some visual cues, or some symbols like on the tiffin you can put me back in the bag, or you can leave a note on the compass stating that take me back home. So leaving such visual cues will help them remember, okay, what they have to do with the thing in their hand. So these are some of the suggestions, and one of the most important thing that I would like to suggest is very efficient uh, rapport between the teacher and the parent for the management of such children.
True.
So this reminds me of another one very important question put forward by parents mainly, that are there certain dietary tips that has to be followed for such children? So Vidya, can you answer this?
Yeah, well, Neha, as such, there are no dietary guidelines as such, but there are certain tips that the parents could follow for a ADHD child. So, as for other children, these children need to have, nutritious food that is rich in vitamins and minerals and protein. Protein is very important. A uh, high protein diet is very important, and also it's important to include omega 3 and fatty acids in their diet. Why? Because all these things helps in the in the building of the nervous system, the neurotransmitter. As such, it's very good for the brain and brain functions. So, but there are certain things that the parents could avoid, or give make the consumption of these food in a minimal way. They can give it a in a reduced way. For example, any kind of sugary item, candies, or chocolates, or anything that is related to sugar and carbs could be lowered in the diet. And also, any kind of packed food that contains preservatives, for example, to be chips or packed tinned food or whatever, all these things could be avoided, or rather minimal, can be given in a minimal quantity. Any food that contains food color or additives can also be reduced in the diet, in the consumption. So all these things need to be taken care by the parents. Now, Neha, since we have reached the fag end of our discussion, uh, a thought comes to me that what is the role of the society, that is we as a society, for these ADHD children? What should be our role? The role of the society.
Yeah, this is a very good question, Srividya. You see, we as parents or teachers or neighbors or people who know these children do tend to label these children as the troublemakers, the hyperactive ones, the problem creators, like that. So when you label them, they become more aggressive and they break more rules because they somewhere feel that they are not accepted as they are. We also tend to be judgmental about the parental style or the parenting style. We say that the parents are not strict enough or they are too lenient. So what we should do is, first and foremost thing is social acceptance. We should accept the children as they are, because uh, it's not their fault. So one research, Srividya, recently showed that when you tell children that their friend has a certain disorder called as ADHD, they tend to have a negative outlook towards those children. So these children end up being bullied by other kids because of no apparent reason of theirs. So we have to make parents, children, and peers, that is these children's peers and their parents, aware about what is ADHD, so that there is more social acceptance in the society for them.
Yeah, um, it's very thoughtful. It makes me thoughtful what you said. And to sum up the entire discussion, I would say that there are three key takeaways, or three A's for that matter. First is paying attention, which is the duty of the parents, the teachers, and the educators. Second is acceptance. So, as a
True.
society, as peers of the children and the parents of the peers, we need to accept these kids however they are, the way they are. And finally, is the awareness among one and all. Now, for this awareness is very important. Uh, and only when there is awareness, I just realize that the first two A's are possible. That is attention
True.
as well as acceptance. So, with this,
True.
we come to the end of our session. Neha, your closing comments.
I would like all our viewers to help us spread this awareness about ADHD. So please do like, share, and subscribe our video and let it reach to as many people as possible. So thank you all and have a Merry Christmas.
Thank you.